Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, welcome to this Zoom. My name is Todd Cahill, and I'm going to be hosting today's Zoom. And this is a Zoom specific for men, but if you're a woman on the Zoom, you're still at the right Zoom because we want to build this peptide business, obviously to the masses in the United States of America. And we're going to give you trainings, we're going to give you tips every single week. We're going to do this every Tuesday. And today's Zoom specifically, which I'm actually really excited about is we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about these beautiful things called prescription-based peptides. And we're going to go through the website. We're going to give you guys the one percenter. So again, we have a lot of women on this team that have husbands and boyfriends and people that they're bringing on board. And we also are now have a lot of men joining. But to give you guys a little bit of base of who I am, and of course, my business partner, Chris, we're just two serial entrepreneurs that want to host this call for each and every one of you. I have a lot of experience in network marketing. I went from 2004 to 2019, did very well, went to three different companies, was a millionaire club member in all three, respectively. And then I actually met Chris in 2020 during COVID. I was a CEO of my own company, and he led me into more of the corporate-based affiliate marketing space. We worked with Kevin O'Leary and people that had a lot of influence in Miami, and we did very well with a corporate-based affiliate marketing program. And I remember talking to Chris, and we're going to kind of piggyback this Zoom today, so it's not like so structured. We're going to kind of go back and forth, but we're going to teach a lot about why me and him specifically are here as men, and why we're so excited about peptides, and why this has really been something that we would have marketed to a lot of B2B people. So we were working a lot with businesses, 500 employees and under for years. And I remember Chris, he was like, "Hey, we're going to sell peptides." And I was like, "Okay, cool." But because I was kind of frustrated because now I'm 45, but at the time I think it was like 43. And I was just like, oh man, I kind of miss those days where there was a multi-level compensation plan where I can get paid more than just two levels deep. Because most affiliate programs like Amazon and Tesla, they have that two-level kind of tier, and that's about it. You're cut off. But at the same time, I didn't want to do kind of another one of those things where you could just get it on Amazon. I wanted it to be unique. And I think a lot of you can relate to that. So Chris can share the story, and I'm going to kind of pass it to him, how him and his wife kind of learned about this and how he told me about it. So, Chris, I'll kind of pass it to you for how kind of you got involved and how you kind of reached out to me and what really captured your attention being a man, but at the same time being a husband and being a serial entrepreneur for so many years. What captivated your attention about this business that we're doing with LEMD?
Yeah, no, and thanks for the intro. So the cool thing about LAMD is obviously pioneering this space. Bringing a telehealth platform into network marketing is not familiar, right? It's never been done before. So pioneering the industry into products that are driven by science, approved by physicians, and then made available in a public forum is very interesting. And the ability to build community here is why LAMD has been thriving in this industry, because when you look at these other brands, we've all seen like the Hims and Hers and Row.co and all these other companies, direct to consumer brands. They're doing a great job, and they're also spending a ridiculous amount of money on marketing to try to get new clients. And I'll tell you, the attrition rate in those direct to consumer
Mm-hmm.
companies on average is after 2 months, which means their customers are really only on for less than half the minimum amount of time that somebody should be on these peptides to really feel the long-term effects and get those results. But LEMD coming in and creating this community, the way that it's been set up now, and obviously with the network marketing component to that, we're all driven and incentivized to help each other and really build down. It also helps to build community for to keep each other accountable, right? Most people will jump into something and start a project or start a new path and then fall off, not because they don't want those results. We all have the same New Year's resolutions every New Year's, but it's because we don't have anybody else to do it with. Sometimes it's weight loss, sometimes it's making more money, getting a different job, sometimes it's moving, but sometimes just going into something just feels better when you can do it with a group of people and everybody can win together and celebrate together. So what attracted me here is the science. If you've been in health and wellness companies before, you've seen various nutrition products, some have ingredients that are in the far reaches of the world, and it's because we got it from this forest is why it's so special, and it's going to do something for you that's never been done. And I mean, we've all tried different products, and you have to almost believe that it's going to work to know that it's going to work. Where here you have science-based products, again, that attached to a telemedicine platform, they're being prescribed by physicians, You don't have to sell what it's going to do. And that's already been done for you, right? We already know these products work. And so the introduction to Ellie gives people access to now a pretty good portfolio of products that are going to serve them specifically to a need that they want. And so what typically happens in these companies, they just come out with product, trying to figure out something, where we just keep coming up with new products that just enhance what's already happening. And that's super, super unique. I have never been in a company like that where you could really add on to the experience. And so, the client that you make a recommendation to, they're going to have their own experience. And naturally, they say, man, I can actually see that I'm having results. And let's just be real. A lot of companies a lot of people come to this company because they're looking for weight loss. Up first time you saw this, you're like, I can lose weight easy. Yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. And so, some of us have very healthy lifestyles, some of us not so healthy, and some of us we've just completely ignored it. But the science that's come out of peptide development over the last few years has been revolutionary. People are finally having experience losing weight, balancing out their blood sugar, aiding in their longevity just from simple injections. It's like, I really have to do nothing. Yes, you can really do nothing. But if you do things like you start changing your lifestyle, you start working out, you start eating healthy, you're going to have unbelievable compounded results because now your body is shifting and you're being enhanced. And so when Todd said, man, I'm 45 or now 43, I miss those days, but it's also these products serve
Yeah.
our age group really stinking well. If you're in your
Yeah.
20s, of course, you're trying to get that edge to be better. But when you get into your 30s and you start getting into your 40s and beyond, you're like, man, I wish there was a fountain of youth. And when you start focusing on longevity, you start looking at products that can help you with speedy recovery, sleeping better at nighttime, boosting your metabolism, muscle retention, and recovery. It's like all that stuff is helping me live my best life longer, right? And so I think in some cases we all believe that, and in longevity we'll live to 100, and by God's grace, maybe we all do, and that'll be amazing. But ultimately, we want to live our best version of who we are right now for as long as possible. And these peptides and the science that backs it says that that's basically what we can accept, so long as we're doing the do and we're following protocol. And so, anyway, because of all that stuff, and I know that was a long-winded answer, but that's the reason why I got so excited about LEMD. I just knew that this was different, and this
Mhm.
wasn't just another uh, potion that was going to do something, or another vitamin that was making all these crazy promises.
Mhm.
This could actually do it. This is actually stronger than your mental capacity to stick on path to something, right? Can you change your life with those other products? Absolutely. But it takes a lot of this to make it happen. With
Mhm.
this, your body starts changing and you're like, all right, I believe it. I am definitely in now. So that's the cool part about this whole journey, guys. It's amazing what's happening. And this peptide world is not slowing down. I mean, if you've been looking, even outside the company, just what science is putting out there, they're doing unbelievable research. And the fact of the matter is, we already have a home that we know is going to attach to these products and then bring them to market properly and responsibly. And that's what's important here. Some people would see this company and say, oh, it's a network marketing company, almost like they can't trust network marketing companies because we've all been jaded. But if you truly look at leadership, at the corporate structure, at the way this platform has been built, with the attention to compliance and regulation, you guys,
Mhm.
you can actually build a business here that truly will make an impact on someone's life for as long as they want, right? And so because of the impact that's happening here, we have natural demand. People are now Google searching peptides. They're hoping to find a home. And because we already have an experience that we can speak on, it's just giving us a better position and role to say, hey, listen, I know there are people in my network that are hoping to have results like mine. Let me share my actual story with you. And oh, by the way, it's not just me that has these story, all these other third-party testimonies. So I love what this company stands for. I love the opportunity that we all have because it doesn't take a special gift in terms of what we can do to gain attention. That attention's already there. You just have to
Yeah.
be willing to say, I can get you connected. I believe in this company. I believe in the products, and I can. You don't yourself. Let's do this together, and let's really, live our best lives.
Absolutely. Well, for me as a man too, like I was when I first saw this, when you introduced me, Chris, I'm 6'6". I'm actually standing now because I don't like to sit on Zooms because I have more energy when I stand, but I'm
And
six
I'm
foot
five foot
six.
seven, so we stand like
Yeah,
this next to each
yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm like every time I take a picture, right? But no, even for you though, you lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight too, and we look better today than we did in our 30s. I'm 45, just turned 45 like a month and a half ago, but I was 240. So even like a year ago, when I was looking at pictures of myself, I was really inflamed face and stuff like that. And as a man on this call, and of course women as well, especially in their 40s and 50s, if they're dealing with pre or post menopause as well, it's like we gain this weight and we're like watching our diet. I was doing like 2 workouts a day. I still do sometimes, cardio in the morning, an hour at the stairs, an hour in the gym. And I was still at 240. So now I'm around 205, 207 at 6'6" because of the GLP-1, that I take, the 90 days here where I inject once a week. And then I was able to maintain that. And then you put a copper peptide. We're going to go through the peptides today just for educational purposes, because I know how important it is for you guys to understand, okay, as a man, and even as a woman that recruits a man, we're different people, right? A man's dealing with certain things that women are not dealing with, and some of it is the same. But obviously, let's face it, the older we get, the more harder it is to stay lean, to stay fit. And it's just much more than, hey, got to get that summer body and 75 hard or go to the gym, get a gym membership. That is great, guys. I've never been obese. I've always been working out since I was a little kid, but I started to gain weight and I had no idea why that was happening. So with these peptides, along with a healthy diet, along with getting the protein intake of at least 1 gram per pound of the goal that you want to achieve, it's just going to be such a great thing for you, because I know right now health and wellness is a big deal. People are working out more than ever. People's Instagrams, I mean, all I see is gym stuff every time I go online, which is a good thing. But again, when you're hitting 40 years of age or higher, the signaling of your body is kind of like turning down the mitochondria, the telomeres. You're starting to see like maybe hair loss as a man, or just like, different things that you're experiencing that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a young, buck anymore. But this is where it gets exciting. And we're not just going to talk about the business side today. We're going to talk about your healing, the rejuvenation, the more energy, even down to sexual health too, and just the performance. And I've always been like a performance leadership coach, but man, every time I have a client, yes, I can help you make more money. Yes, I can help you have different things in your schedule. But if you're not feeling healthy, if you're not feeling your best self, it's just hard to focus on anything, because they truly say health is wealth. And I got to tell you, it is true. Health is wealth. And the more healthy I am and the more that I document it, the more people are going to be interested, and I can gain wealth financially. But I'm not even trying to gain wealth financially, meaning I'm just trying to be the best version of myself physically, and people are interested in that. And that goes for women and men all across the United States of America. So, Chris, kind of if you want to pull, I don't know, your website up or my website, whatever
Mhm.
you want to pull up, I'd love to just go through this with each and every one of you, just so that you can understand we're less than 2 years old as a company, LEMD. And Chris can also talk about this. He's met with Honey Sagari many times with his wife, Ashley. She's done a lot of calls for us. It started really in August of 2024. And Chris's sponsors, they're a bunch of women, actually. They're absolutely crushing it right now in the business. They were friends with Chris's wife. And right now they're making over 6 figures a month and beyond after less than 2 years personally. But they took a risk and they said, you know what, we're going to walk away from a company that we've made millions of dollars in, and we're going to take a risk, and we're going to kind of borrow Honey Sagari, our CEO's, who comes in a background of a biochemist. We're gonna come alongside of her, and we're going to do this. So August 2024 to really the next year, LEMD did $100 million. So I just want you to think about that. So if you Google what did Apple do, what did Google do their first year, it's going to be combined. They didn't even do 100 million for their first year. I was a part of a business in 2011 that did 100 million its first year from 2011 to 2012. But the issue was it did this, but then it went back down and kind of fizzled and then went back up and went back down. But if you look at the trackers, and again, Chris is really good at this too with the numbers and stuff. But what we're doing as a company, 100 million, then we're not even our second full year yet. But once those reports come in, I probably guess that we'll probably do double that. Our second year, pretty much double. I know that the CEO just a couple of weeks ago, or just last week, she said that the company from December to January of last year to this year grew by 30% overall as a company. I know with my own organization, we're growing around 30% month after month after month, which is so phenomenal. But as you can see, this looks like a very well been around for years website. So Chris, why don't you take over? Like, what are we looking at here? Everyone obviously is pretty much a brand partner. If you're not a brand partner yet, real quick, it's so simple to join. It's $79 one time forever and $8 a month a tech fee. And this is what you're going to get for that $8. Plus, you get a back office that you can see all the numbers and trainings galore. We have Zooms pretty much every day. It's almost too much because in a good way, because it's so incredible community that we have. But this is the website that you're going to get. And this is how you market it and how you share it and get customers, whether you're a med spa, whether you're a doctor office, a chiropractic office, or even just a stay-at-home mom. Everyone can be included in this, which is really rare because we have a lot of top doctors in the United States of America that are actually brand partners on our teams. They're referring out their clients. They're not prescribing. So it doesn't matter about the kickback laws or anything like that because they're not prescribing. So they're just referring their clients, whether they're chiropractors or doctors, to LEMD, to a site like this. And I'm going to have Chris, if you could kind of walk us through, we'll go back and forth, but why don't you show us like, hey, if I'm a customer, if I want to get peptides from you, Chris, what do I do? How do I buy them from you? How do I get a BPC 157 or how do I get a GLP-1? I want to lose 30 pounds. You're my buddy. What do I do? How can I do that from the comfort of my own home?
Yeah, simple. We get replicated websites and affiliate links. And so if you guys have spent time, I'm on the main landing page right now. This is the refreshed LEMD page, and it looks amazing. Like Todd was saying, it's very professional. You can see they've like a lot of enhancements. But this is a premier company. And like, again, just to bring it back to like the direct to consumer brands that are even available, Ellie is at the top of that list. Like if you really look at the top ones making the most amount of impact, Ellie is absolutely there and everybody knows about this company. So you'll see a lot of people trying to imitate what Ellie has brought to market. And so in what Todd was saying, let's go to products here. If I'm sending somebody my link, I'm like, hey, you want to work on weight loss? I'm always going to offer the best solution. So like the GLP-1 GIP combination is the better of the two, right? That's why it costs a little bit more, but it's because you're getting the better results and better benefits with a little bit less side effects, potentially. And so obviously the company has made some enhancements there. Now we can get it with the B12. We have the L-carnitine, the glycine, and then the difference for the oral drops now also include the NADs. And so for me, if I'm making a recommendation, I'm definitely going to a GLP-1, GLP, or GIP injection combination. And so the difference between all these, the B12 is basic. That's what a lot of other companies have done. But the L-carnitine and the glycine are two important factors here that are different. And so when you're starting to get into personalized peptides, that's what this is offering. It's like, what's important to you? Oh, if we add glycine here, we're going to get muscle preservation, which is obviously a focus for everyone that's been on a GLP, is if I'm not working out and I'm not eating enough protein, I could potentially be losing muscle mass. And so this aids in that. The L-carnitine aids in muscle recovery. So if you are working out, it's going to help you with that. So again, you're building more muscle. Muscle component is really important. And this is a side note. When you look at someone's total muscle composition, how much muscle mass they have in their body is a perfect correlation to their expected life expectancy. So how long someone will live is directly correlated to their muscle mass. So you always want to focus on building muscle. And so anyway, this helps in prevent that. But in the opportunity here, we have the injections and we have the oral drops. My personal opinion, I've always used the injections. I think the injections are sound. I always get the same exact result. I haven't done any of the orals myself. I've heard good things about them, of course. But I always make a recommendation on things that I've personally tried. So I will say that. When you get into here, obviously, if you're brand new to the company, it's possible that you haven't tried all these yet, and that's normal, right? So just lead with where you have any personal experience on. The microdosing, that's what I wanted to focus on right now. The microdosing is something that LEMD brought to the masses. I will give credit to people that are in this company, brought it to the company, but effectively it wasn't a focus on a lot of these retail companies. These direct-to-consumer brands never talked about microdosing until LEMD did. And so that's super important and powerful to see that ahead of trends. LEMD is bringing new things to the market. So if you're not familiar, if somebody is and meets the minimum BMI requirement, which is 30 BMI, then you can be approved for the GLP products. So GLP-1 and the GIP combination. But if you don't, you can opt for microdosing. So for someone that is under the BMI, right, they're a little bit leaner, but they still want to get that little love handle or that little bit of fat that's on them that they're trying to get down. The microdosing is a perfect answer for that. It's obviously a lesser dose, so it's less aggressive, but it ultimately will help that person do exactly what they're trying to do. And so I remember when Todd first jumped in, obviously he went for the full GLP-1, GIP, and that's before we had the additional compounds. So it was only B12 was the option there. I'm sure at some point, Todd, you're probably going to drop to a microdose, right? Once you get to like your ideal
Yeah.
weight. And that's more or
Yeah,
less
exactly.
the goal here, right? So someone would probably not be on a GLP-1 forever once they hit where they want to be. So in terms of helping them maintain, for some of these people, a microdose is a perfect option. So it doesn't mean you have a short-term client forever, but it's also about guiding them. Hey, listen, this is where you're at. Now that you're here, this is what you can do to help you maintain just that little bit of edge to make sure that things are still running the way that you have been experiencing while you're on the products. Longevity wise, there's a very big focus on longevity, and you can see there's a lot of products here because there's a lot of things we can do in the longevity space. Longevity doesn't just mean we're going to live longer. It's about identifying certain parts of us that might be weaker that are attributing to us, again, not performing at our best. So when you're getting into this, obviously the B12 is almost self-explanatory for most. It's an energy component. It helps with cellular health. I'm sorry, cellular energy. And so that's usually the combination you typically see with a blended GLP-1 or GLP-1 GIP. Samorelin is a fantastic peptide. This helps with natural production of human growth hormone. And so as we're aging, those HGH levels are dropping. And so if you could reinvigorate that, you're literally bringing youthfulness into your body. And so Samorelin is a really great example of what you can do there.
Mhm.
The NAD injections. I would say NAD plus is usually the first product that people attach to their GLP journey.
Mhm.
And it's because we want to focus obviously on overall cellular health. And so if you look at this, cellular health and energy boosting and anti-aging, NAD is something that our body creates. This is what we can add when we're supplementing how our body's effectively deficient as we age, right? This is the NAD plus in a nasal spray. Again, my personal experience, I've had the injections. I love the way it works. I've done the nasal spray just because I've been around somebody else that had it and I tried it, one time just to see. I didn't personally love it, just the experience, but I'm sure it works just as well. The synapsin as a nasal spray, synapsin is a cognitive performance booster. So it helps you with mental clarity, it helps you with focus, and so that's its primary function. Samorelin, same thing. This is just in capsule form rather than the injections. GHKCU. GHKCU is typically the second or the third that someone will add to their GLP journey or jump straight into if they're getting involved because of longevity and not weight loss. Then it's usually NAD plus and GHKCU. The GHKCU is the copper peptide. Its primary focus is to help with skin and hair growth. So skin in terms of boosting collagen and elasticity. And so again, that youthfulness in our skin, a little bit plumper, a little bit fuller. If you increase your collagen production, obviously, you're going to have potentially less lines and look a little bit youthfulness. But in recent development, there's been a lot of people sharing that they've been having hair regrowth. And so I don't know how much research we have on that, but it's definitely something that helps overall. So GHKCU, the reason I want to focus, that's a really, really, really important one. It's one of those peptides that people will start and never stop. It's one of
Yeah.
those things you just find that it's giving you what you've been hoping for, and you're like, okay, that's part of my forever mix. Glutathione. Glutathione is one that you take. It's an antioxidant, but it's a super antioxidant in terms of cleaning out your cells. Attached to NAD plus, it's a powerhouse. We're talking about mitochondrial function. It's just how our cells are functioning. And functioning to create ADP, which is our energy powerhouse coming from our cells. Also, the ability to regenerate cells. So between those two, that's a perfect combination. And as you can see, as you're doing that, you can see there's a focus here for hair, skin, and nails, kind of the same thing, but really the focus, the powerhouse is GHKCU. So some of these have overlapping benefits, but it's always just good to know what exists and things that you can put together. I wouldn't say there's anything specific here that you shouldn't put together. Actually, everything complements each other. And so talking about cellular regeneration, we talk about BPC 157, which is body protection compound, and TB 500. You'll see that they're online. You might see BCP 157 and TB 500 as separate products. When they're put together, they work so stinking well. They actually refer to it as the Wolverine compound because the Wolverine stack, so to speak. If you are a comic book fan, you know that Wolverine heals super fast. And so that's that's kind of the play on it. But the injection is really, really good for targeted local recovery. What that means is if you have a shoulder injury, if you do the injections in your shoulder, it will be the focal point of where this is working. Does it affect the rest of your body? Yes, but a lot less than exactly where you're targeting. So that has a major pro because you're not just taking something, let's say orally, which I'm going to get into, and then hoping that it goes to the right areas. You actually, with an injection, put it exactly where you need it. Now, the capsule form, it does help the overall body for recovery, but in this case, it also aids in gut health. And so when I was first introduced to BPC 157, it was 4 years ago. I was working with a naturopathic doctor, but they also did peptides. This is before LEMD. And this is something she brought to my attention. So when I saw this happen, I'm like, ooh, that one works super good because I had a lot of digestive issues. Always have. I've gone through all kinds of diets trying to figure it out. And BPC 157 definitely helped me with increased digestion and overall gut health. As we're going down here, methylene blue. I don't know if you guys have seen anything about this. Methylene blue is actually a dye that they were using in clothing manufacturing, and they by chance found out that everybody working at these factories were having these really great side effects, and they couldn't figure out where it was, but they finally figured out that it was this blue dye, methylene blue, that was increasing a bunch of different benefits for people. But overall, it was boosting their energy, was making them happier, was making them full of vigor. And so the methylene blue, this is in a capsule form. I have seen it in liquid form. I'm so glad that we have it in capsule form because the people taking it in liquid dropper form are dyeing their mouth completely blue, including their tongue and their mouth and their teeth. So this one's really, really great. Overall cellular production, mental clarity, health, focus, all that stuff. Super, super good. So for someone that's not really sure exactly where they want to get started, this is also a good enhancer, kind of like the synapsin spray. A lot of people they at least focus on energy and mental clarity. Again, if they're not here for weight loss, they're not here for longevity because they're not educated enough. Those two are also good starters because everybody drinks coffee every day and everybody's looking for more energy. And those are really good. So methylene blue, the synapsin spray, or NAD plus, all really good for cognitive performance and energy overall. The tesamorelin and ipamorelin. This is a stack. Again, you can see them independently. When you put them together, they're even better. This helps to boost your metabolism. It does work to help boost human growth hormone just the same. This one is a solid powerhouse, though, for metabolism as well. So not only do you get the boost in HGH, which helps you, again, human growth hormone helps with your overall cellular health, but also for attaching muscle and building muscle on your body. It also aids in everything else that our body typically would create, like the ability to recover better. So, after you tear down your muscles from working out, aids in recovery, all that good stuff. So the tesamorelin, ipamorelin blend over samorelin is my favorite. I've used it. I think it works fantastic. Those are one of the ones that you take for a while. You do like an 8-week and then you jump off of it for 30 days and then you can get back on it. So you kind of cycle it. It is just a peptide. So don't think it's any type of steroid or anything like that at all. But overall, when they're meeting with their physicians, they'll give them what their plan looks like. So,
and Chris, I have a great analogy. I just want to share since you brought up the steroids. So I heard this. I think this will be really good for everyone to understand. If you're new to peptides, like I was a few years ago, it's just a form of amino acids. So it's like someone knocking on your door And when you look in the hole, you're like, oh, yeah, I know him. That's family. So you let your family and friends into your house, right? That's actually peptides. So that's why a lot of them don't have side effects because you're literally just putting and injecting something that your body's already familiar with. But when it comes to a steroid, it's like if they're knocking on your door and you open it up, it's a complete stranger. So it's going to have, because your body doesn't understand it. That's why that has bad side effects. But peptides are completely different. It's just a chain of amino acids that our body already has thousands of them. So it's like if you eat a steak, you digest it, the enzymes break it down. Actually, your steak turns into peptides. So just so everyone's clear, that's why we're spending a lot of time today on the educational side before all the money and the financial side comes into play. I don't care about all that until I get so passionate and understand the education, what Chris is going through. And I think it's so important that we know that this is such a natural way, especially when you're getting it. And Chris, if you can explain, I'm sure you will, but like a 503A pharmacy, I know we'll get there compared to like a 503B and research grade peptides, because we're not research grade and we're doing everything that is regulated. So when you do put that in your body's almost like thanking you, saying, oh my gosh, rejuvenation, this is great.
Yeah, and you said it right. Your analogy is spot on. The peptides just help your body. They are helpers to help your body do the bodily function they're supposed to do. It's only because of age and our environment that some of these things reduce, and so our body is trying to figure out how to work through that. So when you give it what it's missing, it's helping. Where a steroid is forcing a result, this is just helping. So even when we went through tesamorelin, ipamorelin, this helps to increase natural production. So it's telling the system that usually makes the human growth hormone that it needs to start production again. And so it's just aiding in a normal bodily function. So Todd, I'm super glad you said that. And then the last one here, this thiamosin alpha 1. I technically have never had this one, so I don't know anything about it, although I know it boosts immune system. So I don't have enough to tell you from personal experience, but I would have you do
It's
your
really good
research.
for colds. Yeah, it's right. It's right now. It's great for people. The flu season. That's one of the many effects for it. As far as if you get cold a lot or get sick a lot, it's a really good one, especially with the glutathione. Kind of almost similar to the glutathione.
Yeah, and so for all these that we went through, there's a learn more button. So I would invite you guys to go on this page and definitely do some deeper dives. But let's go to the next one. We have sexual health. All adults here. PT 141. This helps with overall attraction and arousal. It is really beneficial. That's what it is. So
It
literally,
tans your skin too. It tans your skin naturally.
yeah. And so the thrill pill is actually a blend. It's something called a troche. It has the same texture of a starburst. You technically can chew it, but you're not supposed to. You just put it under your tongue, let it melt. This one has tadalafil, which is the same active ingredient as Cialis, which helps to increase blood flow to your special spots. And oxytocin is the binding hormone. So naturally, men and women produce oxytocin. It is the hormone that naturally secretes that allow you to bind to your partner. So you are more attracted to them, all that stuff. And then that is also with the PT 141, again, increased sexual desire and arousal. So
Yeah.
the 141 is here. I would say for the overall experience, I would probably, if somebody is having focus here when you're having conversations, obviously people are going to check out the website. They're going to be like, what do you mean you have sexual performance? I would probably say have them order this one. I feel like this throw pill is just doing the triple combo automatically. The Elate spray is the new one. This is the same compounds put together in a spray rather than the troche. So that's just someone's preference. Do they want to put this little starburst, if you will, under their tongue and let it melt, or if they want to do the spray, they could do the spray. And then as we get to protein, how many people have ordered this GLP-1 support protein? Hands up or in the chat.
I have the coffee one.
Yeah, this is one of the best tasting proteins I've ever had. And I'm not being biased at all, but I've ordered so many online and so many from other companies. This has a really, really great smooth flavor, very creamy, but it doesn't feel fake. I don't know how to say it. When you try like a
Yeah.
really low quality protein, you're like, ah, this kind of tastes really bad.
Yeah.
But the protein blend that's here, it's unbelievable. It is plant-based, so it's easy for all people to digest. No issues with lactose and all that jazz.
And there's
The
no
system,
sucralose, and all the ingredients are spot on. So I know we're all disappointed when we even go to Whole Foods and it has sucralose in it and all these other things. I'm like, I thought this was like a good for you. So none of that is actually in the ingredients with this.
yeah. So I've had only vanilla because I'll mix it. But now that you said that you love the coffee, I'll probably order the coffee. What I
Yeah, it's really
typically
good.
will do is I'll put cold brew coffee in my vanilla mixer,
Hmm.
just to make the coffee flavor happen. But I'll give it a shot. You see that? That was a recommendation. See, he said it, and now I'm buying it. That's what happens for you too.
Yep. Yeah, and they did reformulate it. They did originally have sucralose in it, but they did already reformulate that about a month ago. So when you buy it today, it's all taken care of and reformulated.
Yep. And then the last one, Todd, I'll let you take this one because you have been and
Yes.
had so much success in skincare.
Yeah. So what I love about what you said, Chris, is I have the tesamorelin, ipamorelin here. I have the GHCQU, the copper peptide. So I'm a huge fan. So if you really want better skin and anti-aging, first of all, get to the injection peptide first before a topical. So since 2011 to 2017, I was in an organization that was not a prescription-based night cream. That was the one that did 100 million the first year, and it's still in business today. I built a team of about 100,000 people, had a lot of fun doing it. I was in my early 30s, made millions of dollars. But the night cream really smelled. And it did work, though. Obviously, people still stuck with it, but it wasn't prescription based. So this one is actually $149 for 2 months total, which I think is unbelievable. If you look at South Korea, they're the kings of like just skincare in general. It would be much more expensive with the type of ingredients that this has compared to like a Korean skincare, but it has all the peptides. It has the GHKCU in this. It has the NAD plus in this. And the way that it works, it really absorbs underneath the dermal. You'll have an assigned dermatologist, so you'll even be able to talk to a dermatologist. And just so you know, a dermatologist has to go to school 4 years more than a typical doctor. So even you might have a dermatologist even prescribing you a different peptide. So don't be cautious about that. They're very well educated, even in peptides, and you'll have your own portal. But this is just something that, on top of the injections of the oral, we have something that you can topically put on your face at night. And I think that even just helps with 11 lines, fine lines, wrinkles around the eyes, crow's feet, neck as well. We call it the turkey neck the older you get. And both men and women need this. It's not like men don't need this at all. I think men now more than ever. You look at people like Brad Pitt, he's 63 years old, and he was in that F1 movie last year. And I'm just like the movie was good and all, but I was just like looking at Brad Pitt the whole time. And I'm not that way. I'm a heterosexual man, but I'm like, how does that guy look like that? He's 62 years old. Obviously, Brad Pitt's probably on peptides. Same with a lot of the movie stars and stuff. So there is a anti-aging formulation here for years when it comes to peptides and everything for like the celebrities in Hollywood and billionaires and millionaires. But now we all have access to it. Again, this is so cool because it's prescription only. So you can't just buy it. You have to actually go through a prescription to even get the skincare. So this is just an incredible other product that we have as well. And this alone, if you really just Google or chat, this what blew me away, Chris, on the kind of the more the business side, because I am an entrepreneur. And I'm just like, okay, wait a minute. We got sexual health, we have skincare right here, then we have weight management, and then we also have longevity. So, and then of course the GLP-1 support. But just take those four categories and chat GPT 2026, how many billions of dollars in the United States of America is going to be skincare alone? And then you go to sexual health alone, just not globally, but just in the United States of America. Then you have longevity, and then you also have weight management. Weight management alone, GLP-1s right now in America are 60 billion by 2025. It's going to go to 337 billion by 2030. So 4 years from now. That's just the GLP-1s. So we have four multi-billion dollar categories here that this is the first business that I've ever been a part of after 24 years of being an entrepreneur that pretty much I can go walk out here in Tampa. I could just talk to someone right now at the pool that I'm seeing and just say, hey, have you ever heard of peptides? Like, yeah, I love them. They're either on them or they want to be on them. This is the first time I think in history in the wellness industry that people want this. But I think the problem is, and the challenge is, and this is where, if you could find a void in the marketplace and fill it, you can make a lot of money, right? So as an entrepreneur, I'm like, okay, well, it's not 2030 yet. And I don't want it to be 2030 yet. I'm glad it's only beginning of 2026. Let me also not only use this for my own health benefit at age 45, but let me also turn this into a legacy business and invite my friends, family, and neighbors to it because A, I lost 35 pounds. I'm obsessed with it. For the first time ever, I'm truly obsessed with these products. I can't wait till I get my peptides delivered to the doorstep because it's like Christmas morning. I remember being in London like like 4 months ago, and I was out of my GLP-1, and I was like, oh shoot. So in London, I ordered it in my hotel room, flew the next day back to Tampa, and 2 days after that, it was at my doorstep. So the fact that you could just order it, you don't have to physically go talk to a doctor. You're going to have a client portal, and you're going to get it mailed to you FedEx, and you can actually track the FedEx now. And it's coming from our Houston pharmacy. It's just unprecedented. So you have all of this momentum. You can chat GPT the heck out of any of this. The market is huge right now. But Chris, let's talk about the cons. I know a lot of people get on these Zooms. We hype this up. We talk about like, we're the best. This is the greatest. And I'm not that guy. And I know, Chris, you're not that guy. We've already been a part of those companies that are, you kind of feel dirty. You want to take a shower after some of those Zooms. You're like, yeah, man, this person's all about the money. So let's talk about the cons here. And I'm not talking specifically about Ellie, but I'm talking about what's going on in the peptide world when it comes to research grade. And let's talk a little bit about why we're different, our relationship with Clover Pharmacy, the contract that we have with them, and why the federal government, is going after research grade, but we're in the clear, we're good, we're doing everything in regulation. And then we can kind of end it for a few minutes on just the business side. But I think it's important for all of us to know, especially as a lot of men on this call that are protectors of our family, we're protectors of our children, our wives, we want to provide for our family, but we also don't want to be a part of something that's goofy. We don't want to be a part of something that's that could really be not as much as how great we thought it would be, and then we're all disappointed. We're like, oh man, I just was sold. It was all hype. That's not what this is. And believe me, Chris and I have been through things that were like that. But Chris, if you can kind of share just the strategy and the foundation of the compounding pharmacy, why that matters, why research grade is in big trouble right now, and why we're completely different than that.
Yeah, no, that's great. So the Clover RX brand is a partnership. So there's a lot of control and oversight on the manufacturing, and so you guys will see the owner of that company will come on to the corporate meetings. It's very transparent. They're not trying to hide anything. It is a federally regulated and approved, FDA approved 503A compounding pharmacy. 503A is specifically direct to consumer. 503B is for bulk orders. That's where like hospitals and stuff like that and med spas typically order from. But the 503A, it's very hard to have a proper network of all 503A compounding pharmacies in the United States. And so the things that you just don't know about, Elliot, and how much time and effort it is to build these relationships, to set up the infrastructure, to make sure that you guys can make a recommendation to anybody in any state and be able to deliver is significantly harder than you think it is. And so in terms of what the company has done from an infrastructure perspective, a lot of that stuff happened, last year. And as the market continues to grow, like Todd's saying, these research grade companies, they're getting fizzled out. And when you start looking at these research grade companies, what does that mean? It means they're manufacturing peptides without any oversight. So they're not held to any standard, any quality assurance, any of that kind of stuff. There's also zero guidance. Somebody can buy it and then there's no dosing schedule, there's no nothing. So you have no idea where it's coming from. You have no idea the quality that you're getting. You have no idea how to take this stuff. It's super dangerous. People will start getting it and they're like, oh, I want to lose weight faster, so I'll take a bigger shot of a GLP-1. And then now they've hurt themselves. And some of these people having to run to ERs and stuff because they're taking all these peptides thinking, man, if I just do a little bit better, I can maybe get faster results. And so the research grade space is getting slammed right now. The FDA has been stepping in and shutting down companies. And then obviously the big pharma is all upset, about the growth of GLP-1 outside of their companies. But this stuff is all approved, and the FDA has made that perfectly clear. And so as this stuff continues to grow, the way that you stay firm here is, again, personalized patient care. That's what LEMD offers. Again, when you click on, the injections, you're going into, cool, here's the injection. Which one do you want? And then what do you want to blend it with, right? So it's specific to them. And that's really, really important. And that's where this industry is going if you focus on GLPs. But the GLPs are honestly this much of what peptides can do overall. And I hope you got that from all the other products we went over earlier. There's so much you can add to someone. So if you're leading only with weight loss, you're actually not serving that person well. If you're talking to anybody that's reaching out to you, you made a post because you're having fantastic results. And we'll talk about compliance in terms of how to post. And but anyway, if someone's reaching out to you about your experience, always ask them, what are the important things to you? Like if you started taking peptides and you knew it could help any part of your body, what would you want that to focus on? People would give you different answers. I wouldn't lead with weight loss. Again, it's a very narrow way to look at this business. Although a lot of people are on GLPs, fantastic results. People are having life-changing results, and trust me, I love them too. But make sure you're letting people know that there's much more. We can get you started here, but overall, this is what you'll want to add to the journey, whether that's now or in 30 days. Know what's possible because it's easier for you to go back to it later on from a sales perspective, but also just to identify their journey and serve them properly. But in terms of what you're doing online, you have to be careful with how you talk about this. Don't ever make a post that shows needles. That's a big red flag on a lot of social platforms. Basically, Instagram and Facebook will shut your account down. Don't talk about any of the name brands that are correlated here. Don't say, oh, this is Wegovy. It's similar to Wegovy. Don't do that. Stick to exactly the way that LEMD has given you the labels, the GLP-1, GIP, that's what it is. Don't say tirzepatide. Like when you start saying all this stuff, there's all of these bots that will automatically flag your accounts. Todd just had a suspension last week, and it's just because we're talking about peptides. So you just have to be very careful. Corporate has a compliance guideline in your back office. Really educate yourself on things you should say and things you shouldn't say online. And it's not because you're necessarily saying something wrong. It's just certain words can't be used. The fact that we are,
plus you're not a doctor. The biggest thing is, a lot of us are not doctors. So if we're putting a prescription-based medication, it has nothing to do with why we're doing Ellie. It's just, that's the point, is Meta doesn't allow that because we're not doctors. And that's why doctors can say it, because it says Dr. So-and-so on their Instagram. But a lot of us are not that. Yeah. So that's why we just have to be careful. So I just say peptide therapy or pep therapy. That's what I say. But it's okay to say, like Chris, I was talking about earlier today, it's like, if you lost 35 pounds, totally fine to say, I lost this many inches, I feel great, I've had more energy. All of that's totally fine and compliant on all social media platforms. Before and after pictures, you could do all that. You just can't say, I got this because of tirzepatide. And now you can place your order. Go to my link in the bio, because it looks like you're selling medical drugs.
Yeah, exactly. So that is probably one of the strongest tips we can give you right now from a marketing perspective. It just protects your social media accounts and your brand. And also we are in an interesting opportunity where we can actually talk about medical claims. We just want to make sure we're never guaranteeing them. That's something that's always been strict from day one. You can never promise, take this, you're going to lose 20 pounds in 30 days. No way. Yep. So never make any exaggerated medical claims. Don't make any promises or guarantees. That's huge. And then the other stuff we mentioned about, using names, showing needles, stuff like that. I know a lot of us have probably started, we were showing videos of us doing an injection. It's okay if you don't see the needle. I'm just letting you know. I've seen all over the spectrum, people zooming in and all that stuff, and there's no problem. But then somebody else makes the same post and there's a problem. So just overall. But the important part about Ellie, again, regarding regulation and compliance, they're doing things right. And so if you see anything that's on the market, you're like, why aren't we offering that yet? It's because it's not appropriate to the market yet. Once things are fully approved, FDA, and from an infrastructure point of view, all of the compound pharmacies have it ready to go. Trust me, if there is something that's moving in the market, there's a new peptide that's doing it better, it's coming. It just needs to be properly staged to make sure that we're protecting the longevity of this company and making sure that this opportunity is around for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And the future looks bright. And it really is really close to looking brighter. So at the end of this quarter, they're also talking about dropping MOTS-C. I think Q2 of this year, female hormonal therapy. So, I mean, we don't know the exact dates or anything like that, but just we've been on some of these conference calls. But it's amazing what we already have, and you could build an incredible income on what you already have here with LEMD. But just the fact that the company's always innovating. And when you look at females, especially because a lot of this business is, and I got to say this because it's a men's call, but as a man, I always lead with women first. And here's why. I just want to explain this because I believe, and I've been working with women since like 2011 straight till now. And every project that I do, I just think women are better than men when it comes to marketing and social media and just being authentic and real and their frequency and their energy. But the only challenge sometimes is women will just bring out other women and bring in other women. And a lot of the boyfriends and the husbands are kind of like, hey, I would love to do that, but we're all the other men. So we just want to be that guide to help the men kind of feel comfortable too. And first of all, let you know that men, this is a business for men too. Women, keep crushing it. You're amazing. Keep spreading the word. Get on those TikToks, Instagram, do the stories. It's just women are just, I think, more innovative when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I've seen it firsthand. I mean, we're exploding at record rates. We're helping so many strong women across the United States of America, which I love helping and mentoring. And women are just easy to talk to too. It's just like, hey, yeah, I need coaching, Todd, help me. And we help them. And then they go take action. But what we also want to do is we want to come alongside of the women and be like, hey, we got your back when it comes to your husband, when it comes to your boyfriend, because we don't want them just to be supportive. We want them to get in shape just like you. We want them to build a business just like you. And this is the first time, even in my career, that I can see a husband and wife come together, promote each other on social media. They're getting leaner and more in shape and more sexier together. But I've always heard it from mentors. It goes God, in my opinion. And then the second thing in a marriage, it really, or even any solid relationship, is vision together. Like you want to travel the world together. Okay, how is that possible? You want to put your kids in this specific school. Okay, how's that possible? You need more money, but sometimes the spouse is over here working and the other spouse is working here. They barely see each other at a 9 to 5, and then they have kids and all that stuff, a mortgage, and life gets messy sometimes. So eventually we can retire both spouses, not just the wife saying, I retired my husband, because you don't want to do that. Because a husband never wants to stay retired. He always wants to keep working. But you could always kind of be like, okay, I'm going to bring both together and and you could build double. So this is one of the only companies as well that, let's say the wife signs up first, she can recruit the husband as a brand partner, and you can double dip financially. And you can literally have double the income come into one household. And that really is usually not allowed in any other company, but Ellie does allow it here. So I just love that. I love seeing the post of, wives edifying their husbands because they're on Tessamorelin and Ipamorelin, they're hitting the gym, they're building their business. And these are some of the people that I'm talking about are hunters. They're living in the Midwest. They don't have a social media following. They're usually just always the provider and the cool dad and the cool husband, but now they're coming forefront and saying, you know what, this is for me too. It's not just for my amazing wife, it's also for me. But we value women so much here, and it's a woman-owned business, and I respect that so much because I just think women are great at so many things that sometimes men aren't, and women are helping the men, and that's really, I think, how God created women, is they're helpers. So like we want to help the men with the women and just have this amazing community and culture that we can build together. So this is just an added piece to the men's side. But man, we want to go out there and talk to women. Even if you're a man, women are easy to talk to. You just have to get the word out, and then they'll go build their culture, and you can kind of just cheer them on, and the rest is history. So it's a lot of fun. And I know, Chris, you have a lot of perspective on this because you and your wife have been in business together for many, many years together.
Yeah, we're 26 years together, 21 married this year, and I'll say we got started in network marketing in 2014. Yeah.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for her, we would have never got started. So I'll be completely humble there. Women are typically the visionary. They are the action takers. Men are more rational and critical sometimes on information, and sometimes we overthink. So no, my wife is, we always say that she's the inspiration, I'm the information. And so we've always worked with dynamic, but yeah, absolutely love working with my wife. And I 100% agree. This is one of the few times that it feels like It's fun for a husband and wife, a boyfriend and girlfriend to work together toward a greater good because this is serving our overall health and wellness. And like you said, health is wealth. And I mean, we've all heard that, but it's like this is actually changing us. This is actually making us better people. And we don't talk enough about mental health, and there isn't something specific in these peptides for mental health. But when you look your best and you feel your best, like naturally you're a happier person, and that radiates off of you. People will see that. Hey, there's something different about you. Man, you look great. Hey, you're so happy. What's going on? And it's like I actually feel good because I'm actually taking care of myself and I actually have real stuff going on. So yeah, there's all kinds of cool things that are happening here. And yeah, I think the women dynamic is always going to be the majority in this population.
Mhm.
I think right now it's probably over 90%.
Yeah.
But the call to action, what Todd's saying is bring the men in. Like if you have a husband, spouse, you have a boyfriend, bring him to the call. You have a best friend, bring him to these calls. Like you can be the leader for them to help them get started on a better path and journey for themselves again for health and maybe as a side gig making some extra money here because he no doubt has influence over his buddies and instead of saying,
Yeah.
oh yeah, let's just let ourselves go, it's like, hey man, we're not getting any younger, let's do something about it.
Absolutely. And there was a question too. So like all the women on the call right now, how do I get my husband involved? Just edify us. Just say, hey, we do have some men that you can be on these calls on Tuesdays. You can learn from men and not think it's just, oh, that's just your thing, dear. That's just your thing, honey. Go kick butt. Just edify us. So the edification, and I always heard third party is better than first party. And I don't know what it is, but I think I know what it is because Tony Robbins talks about it. It's proximity. So when you're married, like even if you're married to a genius, you're not going to look at them as a genius if you are with them all the time, day in, day out, because they say, proximity is like the familiarity breeds contempt. So it's like, sometimes even with my girlfriend, she'll tell me something and then I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I'll talk to Chris or I'll talk to someone else. I'm like, oh my God, that's so genius. And then I'm like, oh shoot, that's what my girlfriend said. I totally get that. So third party is better than first party. Just give us, get the men on these calls. So Chris, let's kind of wrap this up. So this is going to
Yeah,
be every Tuesday. It's going to be different every Tuesday. So we're not going to go over the peptides for almost the whole call every Tuesday. So next week will be more business driven, but we're going to basically do week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, kind of different. And then we're going to do it all over again. And then it's going to be the same. And then, so that way it has a lot of stability that you can know what to count on week in and week out to build that the men's team. But then Chris, we also have our regular calls. So you can kind of close. I'll just share my perspective. I was talking to some of our women leaders today, and they're kind of like at that lid where they're like, okay, I want to get to that next level. And I was asking them, hey, just be honest. Number one, do you promote our Tuesday nights call? Because our team is called Shots of Joy. And a lot of them said no. And I think that is the missing piece to build a duplicatable 50 states all over the country. You don't have to lead a call. And a lot of men and mostly women lead these calls on Tuesdays. So since we have mostly a women's team, they're going to be led by other women that they can relate to, they understand. And they're like, oh, girl, I got you, girl. All the girls are going on, boo. And I'm just like, yes, I love this because all of them go out and take massive action. So that's going to be Tuesday night, 8:30 is our Shots of Joy call. Make sure that you get back with the person that invited you. Obviously, most of you are brand partners. I run a WhatsApp group, and I put coaching and mentorship and inspiration in that every single day, 5 days a week. So ask to be a part of the WhatsApp group, and that's where we really post the Zoom link for the Tuesday night call. Then we got the educational call that's done by doctors, world-class board-certified doctors across the United States of America that are interviewed by Honey Sagari every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's my favorite call because again, I'm learning about peptides. I'm learning about fiber and working out and weightlifting and all the things that the peptides do. And then we're building that culture as a team. So Chris is a part of your team. I'm a part of your team. There's going to be other people a part of your support team. So we just want to come alongside of you and say, hey, listen, if you need anything, we just want to meet you where you're at. If you need help, ask. I know that's a hard thing for adults these days is asking for help. Hey, no shame in that game. Ask for help. Let us know. But at the end of the day, we're not trying to turn you into a multimillionaire. We're not trying to make sure that you quit your job tomorrow. Some of you might want to do that. That's totally fine. But most of you, hey, I just want to make $1,000 a month. I really want to take some peptides. I want to see some results. I want to become a believer. Get the peptides. And I'll say this last thing. I'll pass to you, Chris. You can close it. But Someone that signs up as a brand partner and doesn't get on peptides, I've just never seen that person win. I've never seen them because it's almost like that ethical thing that you were talking about, Chris, is like, if you just get on GLP-1 GIP, great. Then you'll be able to sign up a bunch of people on the weight loss, and then you can get on NAD, and then you'll start to use the other ones. But if you think, and you might have been already on a GLP-1, which is great, maybe for 8 months, well, great. So go get on NAD plus with us. Get on something so that you have that kind of that ethics of like, I'm on these myself. I believe in them. I've seen how fast they come in, and now I can really market my own story. So that would be my best, advice is make sure you get on the peptides, make sure your team gets on the peptides when they become a brand partner, because you can't sell or market something, at least getting on one of them minimum. And then eventually you'll get so much passion, you'll probably get on more of them. Plus you'll make a lot more money because you're documenting your story and sharing it over and over again. But we appreciate you being on the call. Chris, I'll pass to you to close it out. Looking forward to this as an added benefit to our repertoire of trainings all across the country.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the time today. Like Todd said, we're going to do this once a week. I know there was an ask if we can do these night calls. These are recorded, so they're available. So if someone can't be on right now, or if they want to listen to it tomorrow while they're driving, or watch it tonight, it's going to be available to you. So
yep.
Yeah, this is obviously just a progress of how we want to help you guys, and education is everything. So the more we can learn about the products, we can learn more about the business, we can learn about the comp plan, all that kind of stuff. Just remember to have fun. This is a very fun business. The products are creating real results that are also fun. Like, the one thing that I want to leave you guys with is just make sure you're having fun. Like, don't take this so serious that you just like forget that you're having a great experience, you're having a good time, you're building a lot of community here. The more that you chase the fun, like, the byproduct is going to be the success, because you're just going to be radiating that same energy to everybody else that you're talking to. And that's attractive. People want to be part of that. And this world is already chaos. It's already all this stuff happening. I don't even want to name drop anything, but the news is crazy right now. So let's just have a good time together. Let's build community, cheer each other on. And yeah, you guys be blessed. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.